but some lady from Bloomfield, Illinois had written a advertiser, about an episode of Married with Children, unhappy.
The advent of sitcoms, coupled with the golden age of television, brought exciting times to families. It was said to be more exciting as a popular comic show, Married with Children, brought feelings of ecstasy and tickled the fancy of many.
Danny, can I bribe you with a pizza?
Let me check my security guard handbook. Yep.
This show was like the next big thing every time it appeared on screen due to its intrigues and sensational comics. However, something tragic happened that caused the whole show to be put on hold.
You mean we won't be together for 6 weeks?
Yes! It's like the second honeymoon I've always wanted.
A controversial episode was said to be the reason for the shutdown of the show. But what was the content of this episode? And why did it affect the show that much? Keep watching to find out. Married with Children was Fox's longest-running sitcom and TV's longest-running network series, not counting news and sports, when it was canceled in 1997. Its theme song was Frank Sinatra's 1955 recording of Love and Marriage by Sammy Cahn and Jimmy Van Heusen, with a twist punctuated by the sound of a jail cell slamming shut. This spectacular comic show, Married with Children, was created by ex-Jefferson's writers Ron Levitt and Michael Moy, whom Fox gave the green light to do something other than the standard TV fare, and it was set in suburban Chicago. The show was said to be a pointer into the misadventures of Al Bundy, a former football player. It was said that the cutting-edge show put Fox on the map and set its tone for a while, running from 1987 to 1997. Let's take a look at some characters and their roles in the show. The Bundys, who were named after one of Levitt and Moy's favorite pro wrestlers, King Kong Bundy, were the anti-Cosbys. Al, Ed O'Neill, was a lowly and chauvinistic shoe salesman with bad breath, armpit stains, and smelly feet. His wife Peg, Katie Seagal, was a lazy housewife with huge red hair and loud, sleazy clothing who never cleaned or cooked and spent the day eating bonbons and watching Oprah. 15-year-old Kelly, Christina Applegate, could be described as beyond stupid and beyond slutty. 11-year-old Bud, David Faustino, was a pervert in training. The Bundys' first neighbors were the perfect counterpoints to Al and Peg, Steve, David Garrison, and Marcy, Amanda Bearse Rhodes, insufferable newlywed yuppie accountants in love. Al and Peg took glee in bursting their collective bubble. During the 1988-89 season, Steve lost his job because of Al indirectly. After months of unemployment, he left Marcy to go to Yosemite to become a park ranger. It was, however, speculated that, in reality, Garrison left to be in a play. Marcy later married Jefferson Darcy, Ted McGinley, whom she met during a drinking binge at a bankers' convention, thus making her name Marcy Darcy. However, quite controversial is the fact that Jefferson never worked, as he lived off Marcy and hung out with Al. Interestingly, the 1988 to 1989 season could be described as downright magical for Married with Children, as ratings improved during the 1988 writers' strike, when people started sampling other networks. Something more controversial happened that left the world in awe. Surprisingly, ratings were also boosted after a Michigan housewife named Terry Rakolta, outraged by a January 1989 episode wherein the female characters purchased bras, started a letter-writing campaign encouraging viewers and advertisers to boycott the show. But why do you think she did this? And what was the implication of her action on this popular show? Could her actions be described as mean, or was she trying to chase clout, probably to get the attention of the outside world? This singular action of hers kept tongues wagging and apparently became a subject for discussion. However, the ironic result was that more people tuned in to see what the fuss was about. The audience grew, and the ratings were strong, thus bringing in more sponsors. Quite ironic, right? The results of Terry Rakolta's actions were massive, and quite ironically impressive, as Married with Children became Fox's first program to get double-digit ratings, a 10. Fox, however, refused to air the 1988 season premiere titled A Period Piece, wherein Peg, Marcy, and Kelly all have their periods on a Bundy Roads camping trip. After many changes, the show ran in a later time slot as The Camping Show. Also, another episode in which Al and Peg are videotaped having sex in a sleazy motel room was never aired. Consequently, in the fall of 1991, Seagal became pregnant, so Peg and Marcy became pregnant on the show. When Seagal later miscarried, both pregnancies were revealed to be a dream of Al's in an homage to Dallas. How interesting. The next year brought Seven, the 6-year-old son of one of Peg's cousins, who moved into the Bundy household. However, it was said that the writers couldn't integrate the character, so he was gone, unexplained a few months later. Al and his pals, Griff, Ike, Sticky, and Bob, hung out at a nudie bar. Al also formed No Ma'am, the National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood, to preserve their right to drink excessively, act like slobs, and watch odd videos. Also, as time went on, Kelly managed to graduate from high school, become a model, and live at home. After getting a job as a waitress in a sleazy diner, she later tried TV commercials, first for Pest Boys Exterminating Company as the Verminator, then as a spokesperson for Ice Hole Beer. On the other hand, Bud actually went to college, but of course had no money and also lived at home. He also worked part-time at the Illinois Motor Vehicle Department as a driving tester, and he finally lost his virginity to Amber, Marcy's aggressive niece. Being the longest-running live-action sitcom ever aired on Fox, many people believe the show ended abruptly and never had a series finale. But why did the show end that way? Could the controversial episode be the reason for the shutdown? As big a hit as Married with Children was, and as much as it did to establish Fox as a network, one might think it would have deserved the royal treatment on its way out. Yet, that's actually not the case, as after 11 years, Married with Children ended with a whimper, not even receiving a proper series finale. It was speculated that Married with Children was canceled because of the quickly rising production costs that weren't matching up with the decreasing number of viewers. But why would a show that had gained much traction suddenly have a decreasing number of views? Although the series had once been Fox Entertainment's most successful show, fans were getting bored of repeating storylines and lack of character progression. Also, the iconic TV show premiered an episode that was said to be controversial and suspected to have been the cause of the show's end. The cheekily titled Married with Children episode, Her Cups Runneth Over, first aired on Fox on January 8, 1989, as episode 6 of season 3. The plot of the episode sees Al Bundy, Ed O'Neill, and his friend neighbor Steve Rhodes head to a lingerie store in order to locate Peggy's favorite kind of bra. As usual for Married with Children, this story sets up lots of decidedly not family-friendly humor once Al and Steve are inside the store. Some of the antics include an old man wearing undergarments traditionally worn by women, Steve groping a mannequin clad in BDSM attire, and multiple scantily clad female customers. While this kind of fare was nothing that unusual for Married with Children at the time, a Michigan woman named Terry Rakolta happened to see the episode and was so upset by what she saw that she took it upon herself to lead a boycott of the show. Rakolta attempted to do this by writing to companies who ran ads during Married with Children, demanding they pull their sponsorships. This approach actually worked briefly, with some companies pulling ads. Fox insisting Married with Children tone itself down, even refusing to air an ultimately lost episode called I'll See You in Court, in which Al and Peggy are secretly filmed while having sex in a hotel room. However, as a result of all the mainstream news coverage of Rakolta and her boycott charge, audiences began tuning into Married with Children in droves, presumably to see what all the fuss was about. As a result of this rush, ratings shot through the roof, and for the first time, Fox had a real hit on its hands. Sponsors eventually all returned, and Married with Children would stay on the air for 8 more seasons, dialing the raunchiness back up as it went. In this case, Rakolta's outrage backfired in a big way, and the show really ended up none the worse for wear. This was not good for either the viewers who loved the show or the cast members who enjoyed their roles. As if that was not enough, Fox Entertainment waited for the last moment to decide to cut Married with Children, meaning that they had to publicly announce the cancellations before the majority of the cast and crew were informed. It was so sudden and disheartening that Christina Applegate, who played the daughter, Kelly Bundy, learned about the cancellation secondhand. Christina Applegate was listening to a local radio show, Kevin and Bean, when she found out that her time on the hit show was over. She was heartbroken that there were so many people who knew about what happened before she did. Toward the end of the show's run, Fox was paying $1.5 million for the licensing of each episode. However, some fans may point to co-star feuds as part of the reason that the sitcom was canceled. Even Bud Bundy's actor, David Faustino, has pointed out the legal problems that arise when trying to make one more episode or an entire reboot. He also revealed that he felt the cancellation was extremely abrupt and uncalled for on Fox's part. But what's this rumor of having the show reboot? How possible would this be? It is believed that most of the Married with Children cast would be open to doing a final episode special or something of the sort. Still, the majority of them don't see themselves ever reprising their roles or working on anything related to Married with Children. Actors like Ed O'Neill and Katie Sagal have revealed that their schedules are too full to consider adding another project like their 80s comedy show to their schedules. Sagal is quick to recognize that not all of the material of the show would go over as well with television fans today. Fans were delighted to learn that the former sitcom giant is finally making a return. Still, they've been surprised to learn that it'll be in the form of an animated series. Will this bring life and fun as before? Initial responses from fans have been mixed, and they have expressed their concerns, stating that it is quite disappointing that they won't be seeing their favorite actors on the screen. Industry insiders, however, say it's actually the best option for a number of reasons. They have argued that Married with Children ended 25 years ago, with the cast all looking very different and obviously older. Animation will ensure that the characters and the setting will look the same, allowing the story to pick up where season 11 ended, rather than trying to come up with reasons for the difference. Fans are still not satisfied with this explanation, as they say that the reboot might not capture the essence of the original and are therefore clamoring for new and original content instead of a reboot. They argue that the unique blend of edgy humor, controversial topics, and the specific chemistry among the original cast members would be challenging to replicate. Also, a reboot, especially in today's more sensitive societal climate, might result in a watered-down version lacking the grit and boldness that made the original show memorable. Instead, they advocate for the creation of new and original content, suggesting that the industry should focus on finding fresh concepts and talent rather than attempting to revive classics that might not resonate similarly in the present era. Consequently, due to the abrupt end of the show, many lovers of the show expressed dissatisfaction with the influence of censorship on entertainment. They passionately advocate for the freedom to choose their entertainment without external censorship or interference, and have expressed frustration with what they perceive as a growing influence of censorship on the kind of content available for consumption. These viewers believe that Married with Children was a product of its time, praised for its bold, edgy, and at times controversial humor. They argue that in today's climate of increased sensitivity, there's a trend towards censoring or limiting content that might be deemed offensive or inappropriate by certain groups or individuals. Their frustration stems from a sense that this censorship restricts their freedom to enjoy content that, while not universally accepted, was a part of television history. They argue that the option to choose what to watch should remain with the individual viewer, rather than being dictated by external pressures or groups aiming to impose their standards on entertainment. They have also emphasized the importance of personal responsibility in consuming media, suggesting that if certain content is not to one's taste or aligns with one's values, the solution should be as simple as choosing not to watch it, rather than imposing restrictions that limit everyone's access to such content. Overall, these viewers advocate for the preservation of diverse and sometimes challenging content in entertainment, believing that the freedom to choose what to watch is a fundamental right that should not be infringed upon by external pressures or censorship attempts. Do you agree with this? Or do you think it's controversial? Interestingly, even with this comic chaos and the whole frenzy, many people have expressed their love for the show and its numerous captivating episodes. They have also spoken of the impacts their various favorite episodes have had on their lives at one point or the other. Just like the fans enjoy, let's explore some episodes of the show that the fans have highlighted as their favorites. I'll advise you to tighten your seatbelt as we go on a ride to explore these captivating and intriguing episodes. The Lost Weekend, Season 5, Episode 23. Al Bundy's dream comes true when Peg and the kids leave for a weekend getaway, leaving him to revel in the freedom of an empty house. Al eagerly anticipates a weekend of relaxation, reclining in his favorite chair with a fridge full of beer. However, his plans take an unexpected turn when he finds himself locked out of the house, clad only in his underwear. He embarks on a hilarious journey trying to get back inside, encountering various mishaps and comedic obstacles along the way. Meanwhile, Peg and the kids have their adventures, and chaos ensues as Al desperately tries to reclaim his domain. Fans were able to relate to the longing for alone time or a break from the chaos of everyday life, just like Al Bundy did in this episode. It highlighted the universal desire for a moment of peace and freedom, striking a chord with viewers who face similar familial interactions. Peggy Sue Got Work, Season 4, Episode 10. Peg Bundy shocks her family by announcing she has landed a job at a department store. As she becomes an unexpectedly successful saleswoman, Al becomes increasingly unsettled by the role reversal. His discomfort grows as Peg starts earning more than him, causing tension in their marriage. Meanwhile, the kids struggle with the idea of Peg being the breadwinner, adding to the family's comedic turmoil. In this episode, viewers who navigated or witnessed role reversals in their households could relate more as it addressed societal norms regarding gender roles and income, stirring discussions about the dynamics of power and identity within families. A Dump of My Own, Season 4, Episode 20. Fed up with the chaos of sharing a single bathroom with his family, Al decides to build his private sanctuary, a bathroom just for himself. He embarks on a DIY project, attempting to create a haven where he can finally find peace and solitude. However, his lack of handyman skills leads to a series of disastrous and hilarious construction mishaps. Many viewers were able to relate to Al's desire for a personal sanctuary and the often disastrous attempts to make it a reality. This episode might have struck a chord with viewers who experienced similar home improvement struggles. The Camping Show, Season 7, Episode 24. The Bundy family embarks on a camping trip, hoping for a relaxing vacation in the great outdoors. However, their dysfunctional nature quickly turns the trip into a disaster. From getting lost in the woods to encountering wild animals and facing their utter inability to survive in the wilderness, the Bundys find themselves in one calamity after another. The camping excursion becomes a hilarious showcase of their careless nature and their dysfunctional family relationship. Many people found relatability in the Bundys' disastrous camping trip. It humorously portrayed the challenges of family vacations, resonating with those who've endured their misadventures while trying to enjoy time away from loved ones. You Better Watch Out, Season 2, Episode 11. As Christmas approaches, the Bundys find themselves in a festive but chaotic situation. Al is eagerly awaiting his yearly tradition of watching Psycho Santa on TV, but the family's outdated set fails. Determined not to miss it, Al ventures into the madness of holiday shopping to buy a new television, only to face endless lines, overcrowded malls, and a Santa who is anything but jolly. Meanwhile, the rest of the family gets caught up in their own Christmas misadventures, leading to a classic Bundy-style holiday filled with humor and mishaps. This episode, set during the holiday season, struck a chord with viewers who empathized with the stress and chaos often associated with Christmas preparations. It highlighted the relatable madness of holiday shopping and family gatherings. The Godfather, Season 4, Episode 19. In this episode, Al's old high school friend Luke Ventura, who became a successful businessman, returns to town. Luke, now a wealthy and powerful figure, offers Al a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to join his business empire. Al is initially thrilled by the prospect of finally leaving his shoe salesman life behind. However, he soon discovers that this opportunity comes with a catch. He must perform an uninteresting task that goes against his principles. Al wrestles with the decision, torn between his desire for success and his integrity. In the end, he realizes that staying true to himself matters more than any promised wealth or success, leading to a classic Bundy moment of choosing his path, no matter how modest it might be. This episode's message about staying true to oneself despite the allure of success or wealth resonated deeply with viewers. It prompted reflection on personal values and the importance of integrity over material gain. Without any iota of doubt, as we can see, these episodes touched on various aspects of family life, societal norms, personal aspirations and values, sparking connections with audiences and leaving a lasting impact through humor and relatability. What do you think about these captivating episodes? Did we mention any of your favorite episodes? How about the controversial episode that led to the end of the show? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.